All right, hey guys, Sam back with you on Friday, October 26th. Or kind of still middle of the day here, getting a little bit later. So today, right again, as I mentioned in the last video here, normally we do Bitcoin, but since Bitcoin is just hibernating, we just did an open-ended poll. So we polled the members, let them pick any asset, and we just did one on crude oil. And next by request was a look at Cardano to Bitcoin. So I've got it up here. This is a 4-hour on Binance. Now, it looks like so many of the alts are just a relentless downtrend. So my hunch is that there's some interest here because we've had a little bit of a kick down here. Now, that just putting this in perspective here on a 4-hour, I wouldn't be overly excited about this just yet, but let's dig into it, see what's there. So here I'm down to a 1 hour. We'll open this up here a little bit more. So here's our low. Yeah, I suppose you can make a decent case here that you have some sort of a motive coming off of this low. It's not great, right? So we can look at it here. So from the 2 to the 3. Right, it's not horrible. Right, so we get the 2 to the 3 here. Here's my 38. We don't make target. I suppose there may be a case that you had. It could have been a failed fifth, right? So this could be the scaling of this is a little bit better if this were the 3. I'll pull this off here. This were the 4, and that we may just have had a failed fifth here because we can get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into this. So that would be so we can get 5 into the third here. Come down for the 4. We hold the, pardon me, it would be up here. Here would be my third. All right, so we come from the 1, 2. So we stay with an impulse, but we get a failed fifth. That may be more likely, but as it sits here right now, I suppose you've got to lean into this here. I don't love the symmetry here in the length of time of the 2 relative to the 4, but there it is, right? So it would have been more ideal if this had been A, B, and then we had, so we can make a case for the B here, and you might be looking for the C to come down. We'd have been looking for something to come down like this to give us that nice clean C, and then off we go. But we get this kind of sloppy. I suppose you could make a case here that you had an A, B, C so you'd have a more complex B wave here. So we could probably make this case here that we have an A, B, C into that B wave there. All right, and if I recall from the pivot here down to the length of the A low here, well, we break, so we're in the zone where you'd anticipate a third. We hold the 786, come down, we do get target here. It's just not great looking. It's there, yeah, I can get a count on it. I don't particularly love it, right? So this even if you just draw a trend line on it, so we're breaking here a little bit. Now we're holding. Now maybe there's some stored energy here and this is leading to a breakout. Can't say I absolutely love it, so I wouldn't be doing much here with this. I'd wait to get some confirmation. Maybe we could end up with this as some sort of a 1, 2, and then we're going to need to get pretty busy here. So maybe you could make a case that you've got a 1, 2 in. It's not pretty, but after that this extended bear market we've been in, maybe pretty is not what we're looking for. We're just something that qualifies. So if we think from this low in terms of where we've gone, well, of course we've broken the 65. So, but we know a 2 can go that low. So it just doesn't look like, if that's a C, we don't have a particularly good looking impulsive move coming off of that. It looks like just more slop. We're just rolling over yet again. Now, going into the weekend, we could see some sparks. We might get some traction here, but I don't see any reason to chase anything here until we get more confirmation. How about a break of this trend line and a hold above it, right? It's just for a simple qualifier. Take the Elliott out, right? We got a swing low to a high. We've got an internal retracement, a little sloppy around the 65, but it could qualify as a 2. Now, so if this starts to get some legs here and we start heading up, so maybe first algo target would be reasonable, that we had something more interesting started. just in general, I can't say that I love it here. Not enough for me to chase anything here. Now, if just for members, that if you're looking for a trade here, I suppose you could buy it right in here. I wouldn't want to ride it much below that low. So if we were going to get we were going to get a third out of this, there's some pretty good upside. All right, so if we're going to get a classic third, maybe we get something like that. So we know here this is going to be very close to the 1618. So if we got something like that, well, I guess we can get some median lines on this, try and frame the market and say, all right, well, I got something here. There's modified shift, which you can see is identical to a channel here. So let's go back to original, see what that looks like. So potentially here you've got a trade here now. If I were looking to trade this, you could buy it right now, but I would be pivot below. Pardon me, the stop below that pivot. So we do have a potential corner pocket here. Now the key to it now, this low hold. So if you're a buyer here, you're looking for this move up to the median line. That would be perfect there. So we'd be hitting the wave 3 target here as we hit the median line. So there's probably a play that's tradable in there, as the risk would be so low. So that's something worth considering. I don't love the reaction that we got off of this, the fact that we're sagging back down here. But again, we're going into the weekend. Maybe we get some volatility. Maybe if we did, of course, you don't have to get in right now. You could wait for the first push and then catch a pullback and then hope you get the next move. You can be more definitive, but I wouldn't have my stop beyond that pivot. No reason, as right now it just looks like this could easily just fall over again, and we got to pay attention to where 0 is, which is I think I had it marked down here. So we got some room here, but you put that in scale, not that much actually. So yeah, that's tradable. What's the risk reward? Just look at it. If you're a buyer right here, right now, right, or depending on when you see that upper target here, stop underneath this pivot. Well, there's 12 to 1. I mean, getting nothing wrong with it. This is not a particularly good launching point here in terms of the response that we've had here, but in terms of the risk reward, it's hard not to like that. Right, so if you like this project, you're itching for a trade in crypto, that's not unreasonable, certainly in terms of the risk reward. I think I'm actually a little fatter on that, so you could be maybe 4 or 5 ticks underneath it. So then you get there's 13 to 1 to the tick right there. 13 to 1. Again, this caveat is if this holds. Here now we're getting a little saggy. We'd want to see maybe the 1.5 hold it. So this is going to need to get some traction fairly soon if you're a buyer there. So that's what I see there. Now, there's not much additionally we can add, so I've just been trying to offer people an alternate way to approach it, take out the Elliott Wave. So here, I'll just clear the chart. So we'll move everything. All right, so if I was looking at this with my Gann hat on, so well, first thing I'd do, I'd get my wolf range on here, so and go to that and say, okay, well, coming off of this very low pivot here. So the first thing I've got is just that first little pop there. Well, as we move higher, now here's the negative 200. So as I move higher, I'd keep looking. So I go from this swing high, now I get the next pivot here. Now that looks pretty interesting. So that looks to me like I've got decent range. So here's the swing low to high. Here's my pivot. I get a reaction at the negative 100. So now, the way as it was taught to me, if we're going to continue to range higher, I would move, if I get the reaction, if I can identify the reaction at the negative 100, right, a doubling of the range, and we certainly got the reaction, we come right back to the lower edge of the range. Now I would expand the range here. That would be this is my new range here, and if new target would be up here. So if we're going to go up to that target, now that kind of fits in with some of the things that we're looking at with the median line, some of those targets. So if we're going to go right now here, you might need to cut these in half again, so you could put the 25s on, negative 25, 75. So actually this would be your 75, 50. Then we could put the 25, right? So you can you get the idea. You're just splitting each of these ranges in half. Gann box, well, why not, right? So we could if I can get it hot here, come down to this pivot low on the assumption we've got something here going. So the first time we interacted with the range was right here. So this was our initial range. Well, look what happens here at the 1 by 1. Now if we're expanding up on the idea that we're going to expand, now I put it here. All right, so this would be your target. So if we're going to continue to go, that's our target and destination. So you see we get a squaring of price and time. So we'd be hitting up here at our -100 on the assumption that we have the new range, right? Correctly identified. So if this starts to sag down again, I'd be a little cautious about writing this again. I'd use this pivot as an exit point. All right, we go down to some of these lower lines here, and it's getting kind of ugly. So just a reminder here: when you get this locked, you gotta lock the scale. All right. So as I just screwed it up. So let me get this back here. So I got to start over since I did that. So all right, here's the range. Let's get it locked in. When you hit auto, you've got to relock it. So now we'll go back here, right, and pull up. Here's my new range right there. Okay, so now with that locked, I can identify. So here's my target. If this is going to go, this is the next place I'm looking for a reaction. So I've got a target, right? I'm going to have to get through some of this resistance along the way. But if I've got the new range properly identified here, then a doubling of that range would put me right in sync with the 1 by 1. Now it doesn't, right? This we could hit up here, right? It doesn't have to be right here. It's not like, so if it just continues to go sideways, like we lose that possibility, right? It can go further out in time. We could hit here. Maybe we'd have to rethink how we're drawing it, but this would be your next one. So here, that puts us at, we're on a 1 hour chart, so we're gonna have to get busy here pretty quickly. All right, that would put us, that's November 18th. That's not out of the realm of possibility. Right, this if we look up here to our 200, now we're I can't even get that. Now we're well into next year. So that's what I see there. Again, I wouldn't be jumping up and down with excitement about this, but if we start to get some push here and we can get hold above the Vegas wave, hold above some of these support lines here and come back and then retest, then this is a reasonable target up here. All right, so with that, right, there's probably a little something here. If you're just jonesing for a crypto trade, there's something here at least with modest downside. I'm pretty good upside. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Just a reminder, if you want to learn more about what we're doing and some of this methodology and this training, of course, you can always join us. You can find out more information over at our website. That's Trade Devils with an S. There's a link underneath this site, tradedevils.com. Always got the Twitter feed where we interact and engage with our Twitter followers pretty regularly, and we have the free Discord. If that's of interest to you, you can come in and just kind of check us out there. Right, that link. I think that link is on our is pinned to the top of our Twitter feed. All right, so lots of ways to communicate with us, and you can always write us. Don't hesitate. We see everything you send to us. So, all right, with that, you guys have a good weekend. We'll be back to you on Monday.